Life is about relationships. Everything we do as people revolves around each other. But whether you are a husband, single dad, or a couple facing new challenges, life is not easy. Did you know that having a successful and uncomplicated relationship is not a matter of luck? It requires the ability to be open, honest, and vulnerable. But where do you learn how to do that? It's time you tune into You've Got Mail, Messages from Him, a unique radio show geared toward the Black male perspective of family, relationships, and community. I'm your host, Tashawn, a certified relationship coach who brings a relaxed and unbiased perspective to issues such as communication, trust, breakups, divorce, and more. I know how to listen and understand. So tune in every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to You've Got Mail, Messages from Him, and prepare to be educated, entertained, and enlightened.
WSDN HD1 Atlanta Show, a situations media station. Time for some conversations about black men, for black men, with men. You've got mail, messages from him, with Deshaun and from him, on the sound of Morris Brown College, 102.6, The Situation.
Saturday mornings I'm tuned in. Y'all listen, man. Simply Sean, she be going in, y'all. Black queen, fudge, black king. We can learn a thing or two when we're locked in. One of the few places we can't be heard. Facts, man, I rise with her. That's my word. Show is enlightening, engagement always enticing. I always come with an open mind, but never frightened. Y'all guarantee the room you in the room. That I'm making everything else. It's no way to force you to protect black women. No argument, disrespect. If that's it, y'all. Please come at least when you call in, cause the friends ain't about here more than you. God, the messages from him. Y'all better listen if you wanna win the life, y'all. Wanna win the life. Tune in to the strong friends. You, God, better messages from him, just from him. Yeah, you got mail messages from him, just from him. 10 a.m. to noon, Saturdays. Tune in. Yeah. You got mail messages from him.
Yeah. What's up, you guys?
Yo,
you got mail.
messages.
Yeah. What's going on? I am Tashawn, your host. I got my friends in the building. I got KD, what's guys?
Yes.
I got folks in the building. Oh Lord, here we go.
You know what? Consistency, my brother.
We got DJ Johnny Prince.
Yeah, baby. Y'all gonna have to super go down.
We got the Green Machine on the board.
Yes, indeed.
LeBron, do you want me to bring you in? You got the hand cap on.
Yeah, it's a whole.
You want to bring you in?
Lions, goats, fish.
There you go.
This is
We got all that.
That's your bonnet.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what?
Look, I told you, they got his bonnet on. Check him out. Put that on. Bonnet trouble. He got the shower cap and everything.
The shower cap.
Then he had to tie it in a knot.
Right, tied up in a knot. I got my special guest panel. Check over. I'll introduce him later. Chelsea girl, what's going on? Women, what's going on?
What's going on,
sis? Listen, y'all, it is You Got Mail Messages from Him.
Indeed.
It is Saturday, another beautiful day in the A. It's a little cloudy today. It's a holiday in the A. Listen, y'all, I was a little bit heartbroken, like so many of us yesterday. We lost another great one.
We are.
DMX, Simmons, rest in peace. You know, honestly, I love this brother. I've been rocking with him. I was never like that Rough Rider girl, but you know, Y'all gonna make me act a fool up in here. That was the teacher's anthem. That was the teacher's anthem. Like, you know, that was the teacher's anthem. We was on that classroom. Look, when it came, y'all gonna make us act a fool up in here. Like, I love doing this. And I like Earl because, you know, he was real.
He something about his phone.
I'm gonna come in on my phone. It's still my computer.
Okay, all right. And then it was like he was struggling, and you knew he was struggling. It wasn't like he was hiding it or whatnot. The brother could pray. Right. You know what I'm saying? He could pray sincerely, and so I'm rested knowing that he knew God and that he knew, and prayerfully he can get that rest that he's been needing, because that brother's been fighting. Like, he's been fighting a long time.
Interestingly enough, I was here last night watching a video, something that he did with Mary J. Blige, and they had released it just a few days ago. It's just eerie. The song is called Angel. I guess it was like a mini movie. It was like 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
It was like he just went through basically he went through his whole story, pretty much.
Yeah.
And this was released like literally a week ago.
Wow.
And you have Mary J. Blige playing the, kind of like the godmother, the angel.
Yeah.
Looking. It was pretty powerful. It was just like, for y'all to release that, and then this happened. It's like maybe it was destined for everybody to know his full story that didn't know the story.
Yeah,
this tough. But let me. I want to ask Prince this, because you were in New York when he came out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how maybe 5 or something like that.
Can you?
That whole movie, that whole 1 5
I can't even imagine how the people of New York feel right now. You know?
They taking it hard. That's what the people. There's a DMX everywhere. Let me know, man. There's a lot of DMX. You all know people that were addicted to crack. You know? And to see someone that was addicted to drugs, hard drugs, get huge like that, just become like this whole world name. You know what I mean? It was like, oh snap, like, oh, he, like, wow. Like, almost like he represent the crackhead, like it's crazy, like he was crazy. But like, I think the most important thing is what can we take away from this? Like, what can we take away from this?
Watch your friends. Everybody ain't your friend.
It's a whole bunch of things.
It's a lot of things.
And just having those people around you that there are people out there that's wanted to harm you. You know, they see greatness and they're ready to shut it down. So you have to,
and most of it is it's not even the physical. It's more so the mental. Just people like to get in your head about certain things, and when you see certain things, certain imagery,
you might believe this. Check on how he's struggling, and then that is that, because he's not the only one. Like, there's so many people. Like I said before, I think I've never been that person to judge anybody who's going through an addiction or a struggle, because you don't know their story. Like, you just don't know their story. We have to reach out, and everybody, all of us are unable. You can't help everybody, but those that you do know, offer them some type of help. If you can, some type of help, because so many people are struggling. This addiction is strong, and if you've never been addicted to anything, if you've never struggled anything, then you won't understand. But there's
a lot of people. And saying that, to be honest, I don't want to downplay what you're saying. Yes, that's for help, but people really don't understand. A lot of people don't understand addiction, really.
Right.
And like, you just can't stop. Like,
you can't. Right. You can't.
Right. So the understanding of it, it's just not there for a lot of people. So, and then when you say that, when you understand it, it's difficult you can offer the help, but they have to now, accept it and take it. Yeah. And they can't, because in most cases, because they're addicted to it. Yeah. It's like the addiction is just more over anything. Yeah. So, people just got to I hope that this right here showed you, or show a lot of people, the addiction, you know, and how real it is and how you can affect everybody around you.
Yeah.
This crackheads all over. My building was the Carter. I don't know if y'all saw New Jack City. Yeah, that was my building. Wow. You remember that? That was my building. Wow. So I'm familiar with it. I know. I'm so sorry. I do apologize on behalf of America. I mean, it's all had to go there. Just like that. Right. Just like another big name, Dale Strawberry. Oh yeah, Dale Strawberry. That's another one. Yeah. And you be the Yankees fan. You see him. And this brother still. Yeah. He's still battling.
Addiction is real.
Yeah.
I mean, this business is 86?
Oh, man.
86 down Strawberry.
Like 86 or something. Yeah.
That's Sandra put up a message from all of the things with DMX, so much to say. So many intimate moments, a similar metaphysical journey, not sure how to even begin emotionally. And on a personal level, beyond Tupac and Biggie, may Allah be pleased with them. This equals on a psychic level different.
Yeah, he's done some bad things. Yeah, this is, I heard the argument, like, the women, who really don't even know how much kids we have. That's what we know of. That's what we know of, yeah. We had domestic, issues and stuff. But we gotta understand, that where it stems from. We gotta be. Yeah, I take excuse what he did, but and then at the same time, he's really trying to. Clean himself up in the world, in front of the world. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So the pressure of just trying to maintain all his kids, his relationships, his music, this addiction, and going back and forth with it.
Celebrity.
I remember, Samuel Jackson was addicted to drugs, and actually when he started acting, he said, they asked him, how could you play that part in No Better Blues? So he was like, how could you play that part? So he said, because I was actually drunk.
A couple of months.
Right, prior to. And him and Denzel always said, as an actor, because they were acting, how do you stay away from? They would take you behind home.
Yep.
They go home. They don't go to those industry parties. Mm-hmm. They don't need all of that stuff. And so I think Will Smith said the same thing. Go home. He was like, there's nothing, for us out there. And he said, that's not to say that that's where all the trouble is. He said, but that's where the majority of
absolutely and parties.
It's just drugs.
No service.
Right. And so I just really pray for those who are going through it now, and just praying that he gets some rest and that their family now start this journey, because I can now imagine with all the kids, the property is going to be like with all of the festivals. All of that. So we got to get ready for the mothers, his ex-wife, and all of that. So praying for him. If he had his affairs in order, hopefully he did, and so forth. But doing this, I was shocked. I just knew that, but after a week of being brain dead, but you can come back. I know people come back, but it was like, I think he really just wanted to, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Tired. So
by suffering from an addiction, man. Yeah. You know that there's different types of addiction. Food addiction. All types of addictions. Because that's not to be taken lightly. Right, it's an addiction. Not to be taken lightly. It is an illness. It is an illness. It is. So definitely, be mindful of before you attack a judge. Someone who was battling an addiction of any sort.
Some of y'all have it. Some of y'all, we all have the same. Some of y'all addicted to women.
Exactly. That's a fact. Absolutely. Very dangerous. That's very dangerous. Very. You want your well-being.
I like when they bring out the worst in people. That's what I'm saying. I'm praying for the all of that. Yeah.
You know how we can get. Especially if you know what
That's my dad. I heard that.
That's right. We were yeah, it's crazy. That's even a conversation.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, you don't know it. Listen to YouTube. When you start hearing more and more of his music openly being played, that means that those rights are up for grabs. And I promise you, somebody, Prince's case, when he died, oh my, there was a frenzy over his catalog. It's a shame, but you know, I hope they take care of the kids.
Yeah, take care of the kids. So
that's his legacy. One of them might be the next DMX too. You never know.
Yeah. Did you say what's my favorite food? Bacon. I know what this is. Why you been following me? You been knowing. That's what I'm gonna do.
Basic. That's a
chicken. Chef said no chicken. I snuck and did have me some chicken for the last week. So.
Whose parking lot did you roll to?
I was actually at Wings on Wheat. I told you that's my girl spot. That's where, you know, I kind of brought it back home, so that's where me and Chef met. And I was like, you know, while I'm getting on the journey. I said, in the parking lot, I had my 10-piece lemon pepper wing, cheese, dry.
Yep.
No chicken, you know, fries. Hello.
You want to say?
I had my face covering. Yes. My last. I'm not even gonna say my last. It might be my last dose of chicken because today is Saturday, so I have one more day. So
yeah.
But I officially, so I have all of my gear. So those who been following me on YouTube and all, I have all of my gear. I got my water bottle. I already got my exercise, my outfit. I've been there.
Yeah, she got a Fitbit.
I got my fake Fitbit. Yeah. I didn't buy the real thing, but it's close to the real thing.
Do the shoes match out?
I don't have that, but I do have some good shoes. To walk in. So, you know, I got all my equipment. I got my hair braided up. I'm gonna do this.
Walk through the hey, you gotta bypass that.
You know, I'm like, I'm ready. I got my jars ready for my breakfast yes, okay, I can do this.
So the next time you're driving, and you see that speaker, someone going,
They have a real
instead of taking your order, they have a real. You gotta do like Anddddd and say you just gotta go home.
I'll be like, that's it, man.
You just gotta go home. It's really like Krispy Kreme. I enjoy going home.
And then they got some new donuts, the Oreo. I'm gonna go home. I got one more day.
Just go home.
But y'all know my other weakness too, barbecue.
Never put aside tomorrow. That's right. A recipe for a barbecue. Look, she trying to listen to me. He said, "Trying to go me. We can work. Come on. Give me. No flashing light.
I don't want to talk about no food right now. I don't want to talk about. Let me get another Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, we got. Come on, right? Yeah. Come in. I told him he was gonna put on. I want that. Capricorn like for sons. Men can hide that. With butter.
If you're laughing at one, I'm going to not saying none right now.
My butter.
Whatever. Let me introduce you to my panelists.
Yeah.
Then y'all can cut a food.
Yeah. Mr. Burnett. We haven't even been talking to introduce y'all already. First of all, he He walking the house symbols. He must have been cool to go ball and show it. And he ball with a bunny on.
With a bunny.
He's trying not to get wet. What do you say? What do you say? Hey, bro, you feel a draft before anybody ain't sitting in the living room. With the window open.
Y'all help me welcome the take over. LeBron is totally engaged to the best woman in the world, the Lily. She's not here with you today. He's a dad of 8, a multiple sclerosis fighter, founder of I Can Beat MS, co-owner of Lady Metro Designs and Treats and Sweets LLC, founder of the Sofa Real Talk, which is really cool. I've been on there a few times. Co-founder of the Sofa. I'm sorry. So help me, y'all. Welcome LeBron Williams to the show.
Welcome.
Do I leave this mic on here?
No, unmute. No, you gotta unmute.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we want to hear.
LeBron, can you hear us?
I want to hear about the 8 kids first. You Superman.
That's the best question to ask, right?
Right. That's the best one. This is you got
Seriously, I have 5.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I have one daughter that I unfortunately don't see, but she has my last name. And then my fiance has 2 kids.
Family man.
So I got 8.
You got 8. 8 is 8.
And he is in love with his girl. I love it. I love it. Y'all celebrated 2 years, didn't y'all? Yeah, hey, yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Y'all was talking about DMX right quick. The baddest thing about the whole situation is the people that should hold themselves accountable for some of the trauma that was subjected to him that will refuse to do so.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's sad. That's horrible.
Yeah. And someone on IG said no one has confirmed there was a drug overdose.
I know.
They just said
another thing.
The media put that narrative out, and that is true. That's true too. And somebody said that it was COVID when he had taken the vaccine and he had a heart attack. So again, I guess we wait on that autopsy, and then somebody said he was killed in the industry. So I don't know.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah. So
we never will know the truth.
We won't, especially when it comes to celebrities and that, just like with Prince and all of that, Michael Jackson and all of that. We really don't know. So
that's amazing. How they all have the same path. Like like people who had genius in them.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
If black people had genius, that suffering from some sort of something.
Right.
Somehow, that's what the artists got in the early 80s.
Miles Davis. Yeah. That's a lot of people.
What people they're trying to bring down when they see before, that's kind of thing. Because they were young.
Yes.
They were in the 20s.
Even Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Look at Lil Wayne now.
They don't become great until they seriously don't become great until they die.
Man, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Man, that's a scary ideology. That's a fact. That's when they become the next level.
Yeah.
Nipsey became who he was after his death.
Amy
But he was talking about that before his death.
Amy Winehouse.
Yes.
I love it.
Look at Malcolm. Look at
MLK.
Yeah. It's the same. Don't come for me, y'all. Don't try to come for me, because I'm telling you right now that my ancestors' spirits will come after y'all. They'll come after y'all. They're going to hunt y'all. Don't do that. We're going to become radio greats. Don't do that.
Exactly. And the biggest thing is, and I have to say it, it's the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
So it's something that
I just got finished talking to my fiance about it.
you ain't got to worry about nobody lacing nothing in here.
Right, exactly.
It's understanding altercation and charges.
Right.
Hey, look, you're going to have to deal with them charges.
Right. What? Like, you what? Laser, what?
Man, I ain't even learned how to play video game yet. Let me show you how to play it.
Listen, you got mail messages from him. I got my my guest with me, Leroy, and then I got my friends in here. I got Tank the Sports Guy, I got Ghost, I got Green Machine, and DJ Johnny Prince. They back there doing something to the studio. What y'all back there doing?
Tapping in, man.
We are live in the studio.
We live.
Is my mic off? Did y'all turn my mic off?
When you ask that question, I get muted every week. I be getting show updates on my watch during the show, so I be having them that because there's stuff going on there. We can pick, so make sure good. I mean,
You know, y'all done changed up the mics in here.
Yeah, I can see that. Your chin.
You got me.
Don't mute yourself. Y'all know when it gets clouded out, another person come out. Yes, she is.
So
First and foremost, she's gonna pull out the ring.
First of all,
she's gonna pull out the ring though. Gonna pull out the ring.
Like 6'7".
Yeah, he like 6'10", and you know what? I'm his bodyguard, so when they let you know, it's gonna be a real traumatic experience. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
You got mail. This is our contract to add person.
Yeah, I got a contract. I got it signed and everything. It's on paper that I can act like this.
So, I had a question that was sent to me, that was emailed, text to me. And so, again, I'm a woman. This is y'all's platform. I need to hear from y'all. But this question actually came from a brother. And he's a father. Mm-hmm. And he asked, he was like trying to say it nicely. He said, "Can you clean it up for me?" So I'm trying to clean it up. He said, "How do you, as fathers, as men, raising your children, especially your sons, in today's society with media?" He said, "Is it sexist to limit your son in watching female shows? Like, is it sexist of him to not want his son to watch the Saturday lineup with all of the TV shows, because he was saying that there are not a lot of boy type of shows, or everything is girl power, this, that, and other." Right. And he was like, "Is it sexist of him to pull the plug?" And so he's really wanting to know, how does he handle this, because he doesn't want to discriminate. And him and his fiance, they started creating friction.
My house.
Yeah. So he's really asking, how are you raising your sons in today's, with everything going on with the attack on masculinity?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
I'm glad you said that. That you said that, because you showed you attack masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And if that's all that's being showed, then yes, you're not watching that.
Thanks.
And that's serious.
It's the reason why they're attacking it. Yep. Because they want it. Yeah. So there are groups that it's an agenda. They want to be masculine. And the thing is, being that I was selected, thank you, Jesus. Yeah. I was actually, it's called natural selection. Yeah. So why shouldn't I be masculine? Why shouldn't I be a protector? Why shouldn't I be a man that I can sit and show another young boy how to be a man?
Right.
Because there's certain things, I get that we want to all be equal, but there's certain things and situations that are never going to be equal.
Okay.
You just can never put man, woman in that same situation and say it's going to come out the same way. It's just a physical fact. Mm-hmm. Male lives matter.
That's right. Masculinity matters.
Femininity matters. That's another thing. Yeah. All of that matters. I'm so sick and tired to put disclaimers on it. That's for me in my house. No, feel how you want to feel.
Yeah.
Feel how you want to feel. Because this is my son. And it ain't no handbook for this. And I know how I was raised.
Right.
I'm not finna let him. No. And then he grows up a certain way. And then he get he brings traumatic experiences on himself because of what he's going through, looking at this crap at home. Then you go to school. Then the older you get, people start looking at you a certain way. Then you want to look at me. I got to unraise that up out of you. Yep. No, I'm not going through all of that. I'm deeper than that. So if I'm in communication with somebody and they're not under, because I guarantee you, I do not have to have an argument about making my daughter more masculine. Exactly. That's not a conversation. Exactly. At all. I would be a horrible dad.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, if they start showing signs of that, mom starts to address it. Hey, exactly. You need to start wearing. Yes. Your mother is the one that starts to instill those things into you. But what's wrong with us teaching our sons that? The coolest video I saw was this karate coach. The little boy was breaking the board for the first time. He told him it's okay to cry. This is your body telling you what the limit is, and you're pushing past it. Next time, because you've been through this, you will not fear it. Right. Exactly. But it's wrong with teaching our boys that it's okay to go through trauma, but not to be traumatized.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Let me
throw this in there. Throw it in there. Throw it in there. Throw it in there.
All right.
So
me,
I come from a traumatizing situation. Okay. I've been asked by God to sit and talk to my dad plenty of times to try and get him to realize that a lot of the stuff that's going on with him comes from past trauma that he refuses to face. And my dad only taught me, and this is saying anything bad about my dad, but he only taught me how to work.
That's it.
That's it. And I only found that out once I got older, and I realized that I was missing a piece. And the reason why I was failing my own kids as a dad. Because my dad didn't raise me and teach me those things that I need to do to be a protector. Didn't analyze the fact that how you guys talk about crying and whatnot. You know, society has us set up to, you know, you can't show no form of emotion. Even women, if they see a man showing he's a punk, a sissy, and you can't have a relationship with someone that wants you to be open, but when you're open, they shoot you down for it. Right. Yeah. And so my issue came, and I just got to talk to my mom about I can't be mad at them. I stopped being mad at them after I realized that they were not raised to raise their own kids. Yeah. And when I found that out, I had myself had to go out as an adult, get counseling, read. And figure out what I need to do for my own kids versus me constantly blaming, well, my dad wasn't there, my dad didn't protect me. Yeah. And like with my siblings, you know, my siblings, I expressed something on Facebook where I was like, I needed to see my mom and my dad hugging, kissing, or showing some form of love to each other. And they can only hit me with, well, then we have a house for you. Then we pay bills. I needed more than that. Yeah. You can sit and pay bills all day, but if you in a house and you see roommates instead of an actual together championship, you know, that's my previous marriage was that. I had a roommate. And when I started realizing that I was doing the same thing that my parents were doing, that's not a marriage for me. Right. Yeah. How many? Okay, so you have how many sons, Tank? Two sons. You have one. I got 120. One, and I have one. And you have just a daughter. Yeah. So how are you? Is it, Leron? How many sons you have? I got three sons. So is it difficult now to raise your sons?
It was difficult. My oldest son is 26, so it was difficult even back then. Really? Because it is. First of all, you're dealing our generation. Yeah, we were, like he said, we were given some crazy ideas growing up, and we're finding out that they're not true.
Yeah.
So you had to be hard. Whip them, make them. Like I grew up. I'm a product of a single parent.
Okay.
And my saving thing was my grandma.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be totally honest. I had my grandma.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
With Granny.
I was that little fat kid sitting in the reclining chair with grandma. I sat in that chair till I couldn't sit in there, till I couldn't squeeze in there no more. And the coolest part about that was being that she grew up in a traditional household.
Yeah.
She knew the balance. Like she raised her sons.
And now, when she raised y'all, did she allow y'all to be boys, or did she raise
y'all? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You went outside and you went outside and played with the other kid. I was the big kid in the neighborhood.
Okay.
I played with the other kids like I was little like them.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no indifference. None.
Okay.
I mean, she made sure I got to that skating ring on that bus on Saturday with money in my pocket to go do what we do on Saturday nights. I mean, but that balance isn't there anymore. Like we don't have that older statesman who knows or has experience. Like she had 7 boys. You think she knew how to raise a boy? I mean, my grandma has 7 boys.
Wow.
And my uncles were a fool. I mean, some of y'all didn't heard Uncle Freddie.
Yeah.
And I mean, you just had people that knew how to raise sons, and they didn't play that unmasked. Like literally, if you look at the history, at 13, the tribal men came and took the boys from their mothers.
Yeah.
Because their mothers at that age can start to turn them. That is not, I mean, when you're raising a boy, at that point they felt, look, we have to take them because this is not your husband or this is your son.
Yeah.
There's a certain role he has to play, and these are rules that only a man could teach him. Could you? And I'm not saying a woman can't.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see women with spears walking through the jungle hunting and teaching these young boys. It were the men doing it. They were out there for 3 to 4 days.
Right.
So while they were gone for 3 to 4 days, the women had to do what? Take care of the other kids in the village.
Yeah.
Their job was to protect that village while the men were going training these boys.
Right.
So it's much to say when at the age of 13, our ancestors came and took our boys from our mothers and raised them and taught them how to be men and brought them through the trial.
Right.
It's a lot that we don't read about, but it's a lot that's missing.
I can't even imagine. Like how is it with you, Ghost? Like raising your son now?
Mine is
how old is he?
He's 10.
He's 10. Okay.
It's challenging because even when you hear I think it was DMX or Jay that was talking about they had to deal with that fact that they're figuring out how to deal with their mom kissing another woman. So I got that.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? And then my son's a Scorpio, so he's emotional.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I can chastise my son, and it's just a regular don't do that, and he teary-eyed.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So how does that make you feel?
It puts me I'm in balance because at that moment I do not want to prevent him from being emotional and but that's not a reason to cry.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? It's way more you're going to have to face.
Than
somebody telling you right from wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like we had a situation actually just the other night where I had to become another person because he chose to get emotional about something. My thing is with kids, you stay in kids' places and you mind your business. People don't teach that no more.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So I'm doing something with my goddaughter, which is his god sister, for her birthday. I give her some money. She requested $100 in all one. So it looked like this.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I give it to her and he looking at her like she just got a knot. And he get upset. Walks out of the room upstairs and we're singing happy birthday. He chooses to stay upstairs. I had a whole fit.
I know.
You went into bad mode.
What?
I know.
What? My face was like the mic is right here. My face was like this, and I'm talking like this, like nose to nose with him because
So we have a deal. Our deal is you're at that point now. You're a 10-year-old. I don't want to keep walking this lane of whooping you.
Right.
You're beyond that. We should be able to talk. You know what I mean? Because that's what I never had.
Yeah.
So going back to what the brother said about trauma, my daddy didn't teach me nothing.
Okay.
Didn't protect me, nothing.
Really?
So I had to learn how to be this, like, and my grandmother raised me.
Okay.
So I had no positive male figure. I have no male hero. I am my male hero. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I didn't look up to none of these. I like Michael Jordan because he played basketball. I like Michael Jackson because he can slide on his feet. But I never had a hero. All of this is really me taking the initiative to not be what my father was to me for my children.
Interesting.
That's exactly what I do.
And it's difficult because people don't understand us, and we think differently because we took initiative to become. I live by this standard. If you ask two people, one guy chose to become a doctor, one guy chose to become an alcoholic because their father was an alcoholic. You ask them the same question: why did you choose to become a doctor? Why did you become an alcoholic? Both of them are going to say because my father was an alcoholic. One just chose a different path.
Right.
I just chose a different path.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And my father's a pastor.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not like it's nothing because he's into the church and everybody look at him like this except for his son, his only son. So you know.
I got even harder for you when it comes to. I try to do the same thing. I saw what my daddy was, and I didn't want to be what he was.
Right.
But me trying so hard not to be who he was,
I was becoming
that. Similar to that. And I wasn't raised by my grandma, but my mom basically raised me the best way that she could.
Right.
And which was kind of conflicting when it comes to, because my mom was a hairdresser. So I myself started getting into hair and stuff. So I was back late 90s. I was doing the afro and the color stuff that people doing now. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
And you know, folks looking at me like I was weird and calling me gay and all this stuff. And but I took what my mom enjoyed instead of what my dad enjoyed.
Right.
Okay.
And started getting into that. But what messed me up really, and I was explaining to my mom the other day, and it's something I try and raise my kids with, is that my mom always taught me that I can be anything that I wanted to be, but she contradicted herself every time I came to her and said, well, Mom, I want to do this, I want to do that. Right. Yeah. Right. Well, don't you think you should go work in the factory where you know you're gonna get that income instead of going after your dream?
Right.
Yeah.
And so I try and teach definitely my sons now that you can be whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're trying to do something that you enjoy doing, you're more likely to make an income doing that versus you going to do something that you can't stand.
Right. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I had to sit and explain to my dad, you know, the fact that when I came to you to try to help, to teach me how to fight, to protect myself, that could have stopped me, or maybe possibly prevented me from putting myself in a situation where I got raped when I was 16.
What
age? You know, a lot of that.
16.
I had to. It messed me up so bad that I was confused myself a little bit, and it's something that I'm trying to explain to my oldest son. Kind of like what the young man was just talking about when you go with his son. Even though his son is 10, mine was like 16. I had just got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Couldn't walk. And he too busy, 16, and thinking that he's supposed to be outside at 1 o'clock at night because everybody else is doing it.
Right.
And you know, only thing that he can say now is, you know, my dad was very physical. He was trying to jack me up and stuff. It wasn't that I was trying to jack you up. It was just the fact that I was in your face and trying to get you to understand. You 16.
Yes.
What 16-year-old you get outside at 1 o'clock at night?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you chose to do that, and you know, and my father would sit up there and say, "I locked the door and told you if you ain't in the house at 8, 9 o'clock, you ain't getting in."
That's what our parents did. Better leave the street light.
Yeah.
What?
Monique says moms do the best they can, but we can't teach our sons to be a man.
Nope.
They can.
She said, "Are you saying they can or can't?"
It's all.
I think she may be can't.
That was a can't.
Yeah,
so do you think? So you're saying women can't
teach a man how to be a man?
No.
Women can't teach a boy how to be a man.
And
you don't even do that. You don't even have the emotions.
I love my mama to death. But there are so many things that I was missing.
Yeah, because you didn't have a man.
Right. And first of all, y'all took this little boy. They were excited that I was the first boy in the family.
Right. So you had a rough.
So they didn't realize this little 1 and 2-year-old you got sitting on the floor in y'all little girl sessions while y'all check. He's not sitting there looking at y'all like he one of the girls. He's a guy.
Right.
He's soaking all this information in. So I knew things about women that a 10-year-old kid should not be knowing. And I got older. I used that to my advantage.
Right.
To where I'm gonna be real with you. Like, hey, I was Mr. Dating Scene. I mean, I knew all the tricks of the game. Women didn't show me, didn't told me to the point that when they realized I was soaking it in, I was about 4 or 5. And they're like, y'all know he's sitting there listening.
Right.
Yes. Of course. So even the games that women play, I learned them because I was around all women. And they sitting in and they say, I mean, you'll be amazed when you catch a conversation among women and it's candid, it's open,
right?
And they're having all this in front of this little boy that they're just excited about because he's the first one in the family, and I realize he's soaking all this. I'm remembering all this.
And you did that, and my masculinity came in the streets.
And when you meet in the streets and they meet together, because it's unguided. Yeah. So you have the most dangerous weapon in the world, an unguided young man who can destroy the lives of many women in a very short amount of time.
Wow. One YouTube listener said they can use that money they make and put him in more male environments, but mothers don't. So could you?
But even with that though, that is good. But a lot of men don't put boys in great male environment. Right. That's something that we don't talk about as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Got to play the game fair. We're gonna play it.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you look at society now, and how, especially with this age of rappers and sports and whatnot, it's money.
Yes.
There's no foundational
nothing
to put into how, and you can't don't even bring school. School ain't teaching the kids foundations on relationships, but we're not. And we talk about our kids. That's something, and especially in the black community, that we're not teaching our sons. The main reason why you shouldn't be 13, 14 years old having sex and end up with a child, because one, you got to be careful on who you see.
Yeah.
Right.
Can't eat off everybody's plate.
I don't know. Food may look good, but you better not touch it.
I'm trying to tell you, get food poisoning. Guess how you have a grown folk conversation directly.
Hey,
food poisoning.
You got more.
Yeah.
It been sitting on that plate about 2-3 days.
I'm trying to tell you.
You got more.
Food get molded.
And the itches that
Plate ain't been washed.
I'm trying to tell you. Hey, you some extra stuff,
Another thing, and I get the grown folk conversation situation, but to a certain degree, some of those grown folk situations that we should sit down and be talking about with our kids, and one of those main ones are, like I just stated, about the sex situation. We in not having sex until you're married. With that, we're not seriously explaining what does it mean when you start having sex with someone.
Right. Yeah.
It's You can sign a paper all day long about being married, but that consummation don't come until you have sex.
Yeah.
And I throw this out a lot.
He didn't hear what he said. I didn't hear what he said. He was like 8-9 bombs just then. Everything changes that soon. As you have sex.
It does.
If the law is seriously what marriage is, if they had passed the law that if you sat down there, whoever you had sex with, you had to be with them for 5 years, how many people would sit up and really sit down?
Exactly.
That's why I always say do not go that route when you're not ready. Because that soul tie is real.
Hey, seriously, if we have sex, I gotta be with you for 5 years.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people be alone? right now, y'all complaining about nobody want to commit. Oh my God! You know that, brother. You got great 5 years old and had sex. Yeah. Hey, look, I gotta give you 60 months. You know I work in numbers. That's right. 16 months. I gotta give you over 1,500 days.
That's why I said soul ties, man.
Is there any way I can refinance after 24 months?
Yes. You need to pick and choose, and the ones that we don't need to have, those are the ones that we have, and the ones that we need to have,
we don't.
Yep, we keep kids out.
You know, unfortunately, I think the main issue is that collectively we're still healing as a people. You know, we've been dealing with trauma forever since we came in this country. So we're still trying to really, you know, as a collective, move through that. So here we are, 2021, and we have a lot of broken, unbalanced, trying to teach balance to people.
Yes.
That is wow. Yes. Like as a collective, we just don't need to stop. Just chill. You know what I mean? I know there's coaches all over the place, right? But there's a lot of coaches that they are balanced, are broken, trying to really teach.
Yeah, correct.
You know what I'm saying? And that goes with teachers. That goes with anybody in some sort of leadership field that they're just like trying to really teach. You know, happiness and teach unbalance themselves. So I think we just need to just stop, really understand where we're at and heal, and then we can start to really collectively, move forward. We can't move forward with such baggage that we have.
So, and to that, how do you teach your sons? Well, first of all, what is masculinity?
That's what we got to define. Masculinity, what is femininity? Because that's being gone too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's
hey, Shelley, what's up on that? What is masculinity?
Man, masculinity is like, you know, being able to function. Man, I know you want to come off wrong because, you know, people.
He said that's the best comment I've heard since listening to the show. So what you trying to say? I ain't never
Sean got the dope comments, man. I think masculinity. Masculinity can only be like being able to sustain, like being not afraid and being able to take care of, like, you know, situations and things and people, and being able to lead. Not to say a woman can't, but you know, not afraid to, and being able to, and have the ability to adjust and move and take their family out of situations, you know what I mean, out of whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just being able to do that, just being able to take care of your family without bias, without anything else. You know what I'm saying? Again, not to say a woman can't, and I hate to put the disclaimers on it, you know what I mean? Because, you know, they go, a woman will be like, well, I can do that, so am I masculine? No, that's not what I'm saying. But my thing is, you know, he has to have the ability to adjust in today's society or whatever, and being able to take his family and move his family wherever it needs to be, you know, whatever adjustment needs to be made. Because, you know, if he's the head of the household, right, he got to be able to lead. He got to be able to know how to lead. And being able to lead is being able to know circumstances and how to move and shift in this society and as well.
Okay, so Easy, what's your definition of masculinity? If you, what is can y'all define it? Like, is it teaching a boy to be a boy? Like, what is that? Teaching a boy to be a boy, a man to be a boy? Is that being rough?
I think masculinity is one of those things where it's like it's innate. You know what I mean? Is you can't really explain. Like, you can't explain God. You know what I'm saying? Like, people try to put God in a box. You know what I mean? But I think it's just one of those things where you just know.
He said Google.
He said Google it, and I had already Googled it anyway. Society has basically stated that in so many ways the definition of being a man is excessive strength and aggressive.
Excessive strength and aggressive.
Say that again, Luan.
It's crazy.
Hello?
That's what Google.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't. I ain't got somebody called. But yeah, it's we don't really have no true definition because what we've been taught really wasn't what a true. We said it earlier. What we was taught was really not what it should be, and we're learning that now. And it's like we're being a lot of actual men that speak like men should seriously think are being rebooted. And a society that's still trying to put a system on us. And you can't just teach a man to go out to make money, or boy to make money and to protect, without teaching him to have some form of connection to his intimate side,
femininity side. Exactly.
You got to, because that's the only way that you're going to receive.
That's right.
The best help me.
That's right.
So we need to redefine masculinity.
I'm just gonna come from a for where I am. Okay, we are all male and female. We possess both energy sources, right?
Yeah.
When you're born as a male and when you're born as a female, there are certain things about you that are like clandestine. I might be a little stronger than you. A female can get this strength, but she might have to go to a gym and work towards it, right?
I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I ain't competing for the strength. Y'all
thank you. And it's cool. So listen, right? So listen, just me, just focusing on energy and how energy moves and vibrations and all of this and that and carrying on, like. So society has made us think of masculine and female according to what we see, how you dress, how you carry yourself, how you do this, how you do that. However, masculinity has nothing to do with that, because there's some Irish men that wear a dress every day.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
That's part of the culture.
That's part of the culture.
Right.
So with that being said, like even some of the comments that the brothers are saying on this show, like masculine to me is being able to have a conversation about masculinity without tearing my next brother down. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And coming to terms with the fact that you don't really know what it is, just like I don't really know what it is. So can we have a conversation about it and converse about it, instead of everything being a joke and all funny? I don't like that.
Yeah.
Because with that being said, I go into everything knowing nothing so I can find me something out.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
That's masculine.
So is it just simply energy? Well, because Easy saying it's
everything is energy. Everything is energy. Energy can neither be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred.
Yeah.
So everything that y'all have been taught about being a boy, being a man, being, like being that hardcore and all of that. So y'all are y'all saying that needs to be diminished, like, and redefine masculinity? Because we know y'all as being a boy and man as being that tough one, punching, fighting, this, that, and the other, and not showing your softer side.
It's women in the UFC.
Right.
I mean, yeah, but even as
you want a partner or a boxing partner, you want a partner or you want a boxing match.
Well,
because the thing is, most people, like I tell my son, this is what I told my son. Your masculinity is like a vibe. Everybody's vibe is not the same.
Nope.
Everybody don't have the same record playing.
Nope.
I said, but when you find your masculinity, you find that record, that song that's playing in your head, you move with it. It's that energy that you possess. And people, so let me tell you something, you don't have to box somebody for them to see your masculinity or your vibe.
Yeah.
They're going to see that by the energy that you emit. God feels all energy. What message are you sending?
Yeah. So why is it so? Okay, so how can I say this? Or
society.
what is being attacked when they say masculinity is being attacked, what is
the energy? So look at it like this. I know. So when I was young, right? I was fortunate to have my pops, right? So I was taught, masculinity and that energy. But the OGs in the hood, it was something about protecting the women and the kids. Make sure no women and no kids are harm going in that building.
Right.
All right. So we were all taught that. Young. So we young, we 9, 10, 11 years old, whatever. We protecting, if anybody jumped in our mom's face or jumped in a woman's face, we're like, what you doing? What's wrong with you? Young.
That was the male's role.
That was the male's. That's what we were taught. Right. To now, everybody's none of my business. I'm staying back and just watching a woman get knocked out.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now
I can't stand that.
Right. And so now, what is being taught?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But you hard though.
Well, right, but you taught.
So we're being taught that, okay, so women have the same rights, we're equal, we can handle our own thing.
Right.
So we don't need the man to protect us. And so are we supposed to expect y'all to protect us?
We
as men?
We should ourselves do. Right. To have the respect of wanting to protect our own.
Right. If every person in the world was born from woman, why wouldn't you want to protect her? We can't change that. Let's get that one thing clear. I understand we want to be equal. I understand this, that, and the other. But never in history has anybody else given birth but woman. So yes, you're supposed to protect her.
Yeah.
I don't know why you wouldn't want to. Why you wouldn't want to protect the woman? You know what I'm saying? Why you wouldn't want to protect the
mother?
Kid?
The mother is a part of birthing a nation.
Yeah.
And it's BS that we don't teach our, like for instance, in my house, I'm sorry, you gonna see me and my wife touching in front of our kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She'll tell me, boy, right your hand, I don't care. I need my son to see it. This is how you treat and show your woman you love her. If you get mad in my house because of the affection, I'm so sorry. But I'm not gonna walk around teaching my son that 24 hours a day, you're supposed to walk around with your guard up. What that does, it turns your wife into a sparring partner at some point.
Yes.
Why am I boxing with you and I'm at home? There's no need.
I can see that.
I did that for 13 years in a marriage, and I realized that I was becoming my parents. God said marriage is not supposed to be hell.
Right. That's true. So we have a few comments. Mercy,
Let's feed them.
YouTube says throughout history, sons have been taught in other cultures too, like the bar mitzvah. I can't pronounce that. What is it? Machismo. Before 13 years old, in other cultures, masculinity means you are calculated and less childish, emotional by 13. Blacks don't. So I guess his comment got to come through. Easy says, I don't think masculinity or femininity defines an individual.
It don't. That's the issue. We make titles. We have in society have placed titles on everything.
Okay, so if we've done that, we've labeled that. So why are we feeling that masculinity is being attacked?
Because when you sit back and you think about what the world will be like, and you have no masculine men, come on. I mean, you lose the balance.
I think I understand what y'all saying. I think I'm hearing what you're saying. So let's kind of recap. So growing up as me, every last one of y'all, and I can include my brothers in this as well. I can speak for them. I can speak for y'all now. Y'all were taught that boys, growing up as boys, you had to do certain things. Play the sport. You were hard.
There's no crying.
There's no crying.
You was a protector.
Right.
Growing up.
And then when we start seeing y'all, as a teacher, I remember seeing boys cry. And then I had some people say, no, he ain't supposed to cry. He a boy, this, that, and the other. But I'm like, no, he needs to cry because he's going to go out there and commit a crime or do something that's going because of this energy that he has bottled up. So now what's happening now in 2021, we're seeing, I'm seeing a little bit more, more emotional. Is that okay or that's not okay?
That's a certain extent. That's right. So certain situation doesn't call that.
Okay.
You know what suicide is?
Okay.
Suicide is basically not being able to express yourself.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
You have a lot of men committing suicide only because of that main reason. Because if I show this side of me, how are they going to look at me? I've been put in that situation plenty of times where I try to out myself due to that. And because I knew that if especially when I presented me being raped to my parents, they didn't believe me. You joke around a lot. To the point that it struck me to where I asked a friend to drive me back to the same location so that I can kill that person because I didn't want that to get out.
Simply because you were male.
Yes, and the best thing happened. I can only put it in God's hand that when we got there, it was almost like that person didn't even stay in that apartment anymore. Everything was just gone. Because if that person was there, I would probably be in jail now.
Yeah. And that is the unfortunate part because we have so many young boys who have gone through
traumatic experience,
sexual traumatic experience, and we don't believe y'all because we're like, y'all are men, you know, you're supposed to suck it up and deal with it or whatnot. And that's the downfall of our society because we want y'all to talk to us, we want y'all to express yourselves, but when you do express things of this nature,
they don't want to hear that's so weak.
And I'll go further than that. Young boys have been raped by women.
Right.
It happens both ways, and people don't like. Well, you're a boy. How can a woman rape you?
You're supposed to enjoy that.
If mentally you're not there and you're not ready for that, there's nothing wrong for that. There's nothing wrong at all with that.
Yeah.
I mean, we should teach our young boys that just like we teach our young girls. Baby, don't get that milk away. That cow valuable. Why don't we teach our young? Some of us teach our.
That's what we're not. That's exactly what we're not doing. We're not raising our sons to respect the fact that one, you're not ready. Two, you're young.
What comes with?
And that's what I'm trying to tell my son. If you were to have sex right now, and my first thing is because I look at it like that, I can't have sex with nobody unless I'm in a committed relationship.
Right.
Because that's how I value sex. Sex for me is marriage.
Yeah.
And I try my best to teach my kids that now more than anything. Definitely with me leaving one of my daughters out the stray. We have a connection now. Then our parent stopping me from raising one of my daughters and my sons. I failed. But now that I know better, that was the reason for me looking for the help partner that I have today. Because just like he was just saying a little bit earlier, even with her kids, I have to show them that I love their mom. Because when they get old enough and they're wanting to be loved by another male figure, they're gonna need someone. I need to show them. And that's my job. And it's just even with me, my son, showing him that you have to not only protect her, you have to be able to talk to her, not talk down to her.
Right.
I can't stand that man syndrome of I pay the cost to be the boss type bullcrap.
Yeah.
You can do that all day long, pay the bills and stuff, and go sit in the house, and you got your kids running around you, but you ain't teaching them anything.
That's true. And the thing is, I don't just show my kids the good touch. I show them we show them.
You gotta show the bad.
And so one day, my 13-year-old son walked up to me and said, "Hey, Dad, it could be rough loving a woman, huh?" I said, "You know what? Wow." I said, "Boy, you remember that day? You gonna live a long time."
Yeah, keep that.
It's the fact that he's 13 and just sat on side me and looked at me and just said, "Hey, it could be rough." I said, "Son, it could be a joy, and it can be." But the simple fact that he's watching and they're seeing that, and we have conversations now about him when he gets older and becoming a dad, and to sit and tell him, "Son, you are just as valuable in the relationship as a female is. You are just as valuable." I said, son, so look at it like that. And I don't feel bad.
Yeah.
That, I don't feel bad for telling him that. I think we devalue our sons because I understand women are our pride and joy, but that doesn't mean that you the trash out the garbage. I mean, you are a viable part of this relationship, and the more you guys push forward and become equal, the better it's going to be. So don't sit and think because he's a man. Well, he a man. It's all right. No. Consider
it's not.
One thing I love is the fact my wife will ask me how you feel.
Yes.
And I know a lot of men don't get that question on a regular basis. I get the question, how do you feel?
That's important.
I ask Chef that all the time. I've learned to ask him that, like asking y'all, and I even ask y'all how y'all doing, and not on an intimate level, but as a friend. And as a host of the show too, because it's like I don't think we've ever sat and asked y'all over time how y'all feeling, how y'all doing. There's
the assumption that we got everything under control.
It is.
You good?
You can handle it.
Yeah.
Again, suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has taken me some years to understand, because now I started asking my brothers, like, how y'all doing? How you feeling? And they were like, I am not gonna lie, they were shocked. They were like, we good. No, and I'm like, no. I really do want to know how y'all are doing, because our dad died in 94. So y'all were left without a dad. Mom raised you. And, it's only so much your family, the male in your family, can do. But I wanted to know how y'all coped during this time, because we never sat down as a family to talk about that missing piece for y'all as men. Me and my sister, we had the females, we had our aunts, we had our mom or whatnot, but my brothers did not have that. So they did learn a lot of stuff from the streets or, from their friends and so forth. So I do now, I asked them, and it was ironic that one of my brothers, we finally talked, and he shared with us, he was like, I've been dealing. And I'm thinking, whoa, he's been dealing since a young boy to now. He's been dealing. And so, and I apologized. He's no, I'm good. I'm just saying, I said, no, and it kind of stung me. I said, you know what? We don't ask y'all how you're doing in situation, because we just assume that y'all are good. Y'all, because y'all portray it. Y'all keep going, and we don't see you cry. We don't see you break down. So we just really, so you're saying you have to.
We have to. If we don't keep going, then what? You see the ramifications of just if you don't keep going, you're going to be a bad father. If you don't keep going, you're going to submit yourself to the streets. You're going to end up being in prison. You don't keep going, you're going to end up being an addict. You don't keep going, you're going to be making excuses. You don't keep going. It's just so many things on that side. So what else do we know to keep going?
But we're not being taught that.
So so this comment, he was addressing Latressa. He said some guys have been violated by females, so why protect a human that attacks those boys more than whites? Do you consider many of those guys never seen a nurturer, just attacker?
I think he's talking about the protecting the woman.
Yeah, he's
I'm still gonna protect the woman, and I don't feel like females attack boys more than whites. That's kind of deep.
And we're going to talk about that on another episode, because I need to, because I know y'all are always talking about protecting the women, and that question does come up, because you do have a lot of female who have raped boys.
Yeah, you got a lot of
and who have molested boys.
Yeah,
and so then so for them, it's like protect women, and that in itself turns a lot of men hating women.
Yeah.
Not even, even added that, you have like with my situation, I always found myself falling in love with women that talk down. It took me a while to leave my previous marriage with me not being able to walk, because society said that, a woman's not going to want to take care of a man. That's disabled, basically, because he can't protect his family. He can't work.
Right.
So I sat and I soaked in that. And it took me to realize, and it's something that I tell people, I really can't be mad with her outside of the first initial issue that should have made me run. But when I stayed myself for so many years, I can only blame myself.
Okay.
And that's something that I try to teach definitely my sons, that remember definitely my 15-year-old now. The decisions that you make now in life, regardless if you think that they're great at that moment, if it's a bad decision, it may not affect you now. It's gonna wait till everything's all going good and everything's gonna unfold on you back then.
Right.
So, but a lot of women, you don't hear it a lot how women are abusive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you shouldn't have. And that's something that my son saw as well. And I think I had to deprogram in my son. It's not okay on both spectrums. Right. A woman in the man or a man in the woman. Correct.
Right. On both sides.
Yeah.
And a lot of the listeners out there, feel comfortable in calling in and not just texting 678-404-1026, because I would like to hear your voice as opposed to reading your comments.
And I definitely want to continue this conversation, because again, the original question is from a father who is raising his son. He's a loving person, and he's not
at a crossroad.
Yeah, he is. He says he doesn't want to come off sexist. He doesn't want to come off, arrogant or whatever. But he was like, "This is my son," and he was like, "I don't have nothing against the community, but I know I want to raise my son to be the best son." And he also said, "I will accept my son, but he's really at a crossroad." And I'm imagining that.
So do you think he's thinking that maybe his son may be going over direction?
Well, that's what he's saying. He's afraid that if he continues to let him watch these shows,
he already sees it,
that it's going to happen, because he sees other boys doing that. So that's what
the real issue is, that he can't really talk to his son. Correct.
No, he can. He's afraid that the way he's saying, he doesn't want to instill that. Like, he's like y'all. He's like that. I've been brought up, man is man, this, that, and the other. So he's saying he fears that having his son watch too many of the girl power shows or this, that, and another is going to feed into that. So he's asking, like, is there a boundary, or do you just like limit boys to doing? How do you have that balance? Because he's saying he doesn't. Right now, they're good. He said he's good, but he's, thinking about the future.
Well, no. This is what I meant about not being able to talk to him. I'm not saying that he can't talk to him, but there's something going on that he's not understanding about it.
He sees something.
Right. There's something right, and then there's something going on that he's not saying, because
I hear it.
The power of me physically there will always be the TV.
Yep. But he sees something in his son. I'm telling you, just. I've heard this comment before. He already sees something in his son that makes him feel that watching these shows is going to contribute to what he already sees. Right. That's not just I don't have to have a conversation on whether I just tell my son, "You're not watching that." He'd be like, "Yeah, they do too much female stuff anyway."
Well, that's what he said he does. But he's having a battle with the mother.
Oh, the moms.
So he's doing that. That's exactly what he's doing. But he said the mom is stepping in. Saying,
right. That's what he said. The girlfriend.
Right.
They need to have the conversation.
That's what he's asking.
Yes.
That's what he's asking.
He need to definitely do that.
So that's what he's saying. Like, is it too much? Because the mother is like, "No, you're being too hard, or you're being sexist." And he's like, "No,
be damned."
And so that's what he's trying to ask: is he being sexist? Is it too much? Is he being too hard? Because
the mom, he only has a son.
Yeah, he only has a son.
They only have one child?
One child. I know them personally.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
Mama want a daughter.
Yep.
Oh, that ain't gonna happen with them too.
And dad want to keep his son.
Right.
And dad want to keep his son.
What women have to understand is, especially when we look at our sons, it does something to us to see a copy of ourselves being raised, that young lion. Give us that. Okay. Just like you want to be given what you want for your son.
Okay. The number is 678-404-10126.
Yeah, call back in, my friend. Call back in.
678-404-1026. Call back in. Because I mean, it's crazy, but my thing is, when these boys get in these situations where it takes them using that masculine trait to navigate it, because it's gonna come up. What then?
Yeah.
So we're gonna just leave out that way. Don't we have enough men that don't know how to be men walking around right now?
Right. And that's exactly what he's saying. He's like, because he was like, no, you're not watching this, and then that's when the shit jump in.
The issues come.
Yeah. So that's why he's asking, like, am I being too hard?
So I left that particular portion out. My son's mother was there when that happened.
Okay.
And I had to. What the issue is you allow him to do this in your presence. He's not going to do this in mine.
Okay. Yeah, that's what he's saying. Yeah.
And me and you can sit here and go back and forth out, but as for me and my house,
that's the issue. Like, okay, so how do y'all come on one accord? Because that's the buck of his. That's the question. He's like, how do you come?
It's one ultimate goal. It's just like building a business with anyone. When you're building a business, everybody has to be set. One band, one sound. We have to be focused on one goal. What is the goal of them raising their son?
That's right.
To be a respectable young man that knows this, that, and the third. That doesn't coexist with the end goal.
No.
That's an easy conversation.
Going to voicemail. Call back.
We said it. What the issue, right? I think the issue also is that we're stripping our kids of balance. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm gay now. So I have my my same sex relationship. So we just want to get used to it. All right. And he don't need no man. It's all right. You know what I mean? I'm here. We teaching them things and all that. But we're stripping ourselves of stripping the kids of the balance. We all need. Every child needs that femininity and that masculinity in their life.
We all everything is. What we come across is not, especially with me. I had to realize with me having as many kids I have, every child isn't the same. And we try sometimes to raise every child the same way.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
Now, when this situation we had one child.
Yeah. I can see that.
But it's the issues between the parents. To be honest.
Yeah. So caller, listener, I hope you hear that, because he's like, he's saying the same thing you all are saying, but it's like the issue comes in when the mother is like, no, it's okay for him to watch all of these shows, and he's like, not all the time, like,
right.
I need him to do this, that, and that, because he's not that he's not that rough type of child. He's very mild mannered,
right?
But he's still all boy. But he's like, no, when you get here, then you're not watching those shows like mama has you watching them, or saying it's okay or whatnot. So that's why he's like, I don't want to come off as sexist because I love females. It's like, I know that y'all can do X, Y, and Z. He said, but I'm not trying to take that away from y'all, but I'm really trying to figure out how to raise my son in this society without feeling like I'm attacking everybody, because he says he's feel like he can't express himself because either the LGBT community is going to say something, or the females are gonna say something, and he's
titled again.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he's like, strip those. First of all, it's my house.
Yeah,
I keep saying that. This is me and my house.
Yeah.
If I want to raise my son to be a man who loves a woman and has a family, and brings back the black family, I'm gonna do that.
Right.
I'm doing it.
I'm doing it. He said the crowd.
So if you want to sit there and you want to follow me in my house, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see a black man loving his wife. You're going to see me redirecting my kids. We have this thing in our house. It look real weird when you walk in. The kids will walk downstairs, come give everybody a hug and walk back up to their room.
Yeah.
That's a foundation.
Ain't gonna say nothing.
And that is,
won't open the word. Won't say a word.
Yeah, I agree with y'all. We have to get back to that home structure, whatever is your home, your house, and we have allowed everybody and everything to penetrate our homes.
Correct.
Being afraid, because there was a time, I don't know about your household, but for
everybody's
like my aunt Sim, it's like and it stays there in the Bible. I know everybody's not with God. I'm a believer, but it does say for you in your home, this is what's going to happen in me in my home.
Right.
And I'm raising my children, I'm raising my family to the best. Now, when they get older, they have that foundation, then they can go on about themselves. But for me in my home,
that's what we don't do.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, if you sit there and get that child that foundation, and that child decides, well, this is the way I'm going to go, I'm cool with that. Guess what? I've given you the basic tools of how to be a man, how to navigate life, and how to do things. If you choose with the wisdom that you have to make this decision as an adult, I can't get mad at that.
Call back.
Yeah.
But
okay, call back. He said, I think we got it together.
How old is the child?
10.
Okay.
And that's what he's saying. Like,
the most impressionable moments of your child's life is during those early years, right? That's when your child becomes who they are going to. A lot of us grown men are still little boys somewhere on the inside because of some traumatic experience we went through. If you don't instill in your child the things that are needed now, and you fall short, it's going to show in him when he's 21 and 25.
Right, that's right.
And then he's going to look at you at that moment and, like my brother right here is like, Dad, what happened? Because that was your responsibility. You're responsible for one thing. When you bring that child, either it's your daughter or your son in this world, everything else is just extra. Your responsibility is raising those kids.
You've got mail messages from him, from them, you guys. If you're just tuning in, thank y'all so much. You can catch us live on Facebook, YouTube, and IG. We are, and I have my friends here with me. We got Ghost, the sports guy. We got the Green Machine. We got DJ John Prince, and we got our special friend, LaRon Williams of the Mr. Takeover. And we're talking about masculinity. We're talking about raising. We got Colin. So come on, Colin.
All right.
Hey.
How you doing? Third time work.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Can you pronounce your name?
My name is Wassup.
Okay, where are you calling from?
Cali.
Hey, Kelly now. Yeah. So, what's your comment or question?
All right, first let me qualify something. So I work in medical finance, but I've been counseling people since 2005. Okay. And I got into it accidentally, and I have a CLC. So accidentally, when Bishop Eddie Long was still alive and he was running that church, I accidentally got into a men's program where, dudes had to talk to each other. And I found that I had a talent for it because I had such a helpful heart and such a get to the point conclusion. But I said, you know what, let me study this. Let me study psychology and what have you. And learned quite a bit, and then just really took my narrative out of helping people. I think that's the key thing, and why I'm kind of different than some of the conversations y'all had so far. You got to take your narrative out of it.
Oh, definitely.
So with that said, I left America at 19. I was in Romania, France, England, and Grill, and it gave me a world perception. And so what I was saying to you guys is, in Latin culture, it's machismo. They tell these boys before they even hit 13, your sister might be older, but you're the guy. You're gonna lead this family. They tell Jewish boys, hey, we want you to understand the religion. We want you to understand mathematics. We want you to be involved in taking over in case dad died of bomb. Black culture, we don't do that. We let the boys figure it out. So I'm from the hood.
I'm from the hood.
Okay.
I grew up around all girls, but I didn't take any of that energy because as a kid, I defined early, kind of like one of y'all other examples. My sisters, I love them, but they kind of, So I tried to separate from them as much as possible, and I'm glad I did, because even though I grew up around all girls, like you guys said, you see those moves, and you're like, okay, I'm absorbing that. Okay, no problem. Let me get away from them again. I say all that to say this. I think what's not being said is that in order for many of these boys to deal with the world, they have to have some measure of calculation, some measure of unfair expectations to even have an opinion. And if you don't, then you fall in love with the sex. You fall in love with the gaps. You fall in love with the temporary power of selling drugs, because we don't have enough dudes saying the real international version of how this works, which is you have to get out here early, like Alexander the Great, like Napoleon, and you got to go conquer, kill some dragons. You cannot sit up here and get comfortable just making females moan and saying you got power.
You eat what you kill.
Exactly.
You know what? I'm glad. I'm actually happy that you called in, because you articulating that sounds so much different than me reading the title. So much different. I agree with everything you just said. 100%.
And so that's why it's like you can, like in psychology, you can't do psychiatric driving, which is you can't have your narrative be upon somebody so much. And I'm saying this to be helpful for everybody.
Oh, no doubt.
You can't have your narrative be so powerful that it leaves what I call a mental tattoo on somebody that damages their life. So one of my most impactful clients, and I still get clients on YouTube from time to time for life stuff, but one of my most impactful clients while I was at New Birth was a dude who had a full-blown family, like about 5 children, and he was always out in the parking lot directing cars, but he was never part of the church. Keep that. You're at a church, but you're not truly part of the church. You've diminished yourself to be a server. And so we start talking one day. My man got molested, and he couldn't shake it. He couldn't shake those thoughts, even at 42. And he needed somebody to sit down and talk with him. And I spent like an hour and a half talking with him. I'm younger than the guy at the time. I'm spending like an hour and a half, and I realized, you know what? You'll never be accepted because you're not going to put in the time to be a psychologist. But as a life coach, you really got a little gift. You need to help people. So that's what I do as a side item. I help folks. So I'm going to let y'all get back to y'all thing, but I just wanted to emphasize what the sister in the chat room, Ms. Crawford, was saying. That don't happen that often. Dudes take on so much that they never say.
That's true.
And in conclusion, gentlemen, just to prove what I'm saying, ask yourself a question. If this black community, and I'm not knocking, I'm just putting something in your mind, if this black community is so fair to boys, and if women are such nurturers, why does the EEOC for the past 50 years have black men as the most blocked on applications, the most disenfranchised for advanced work? Why is it okay for us to just do janitors, lift boxes? Why when we try to go up, we have our own black people work against us?
Wow.
If we're so appreciated.
Wow, that's it. Well, I appreciate y'all. I really do.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah.
I appreciate the black man. I appreciate, because again, this is something that we have to, and I think Jenny Prince, you were saying earlier, we have to unlearn. We have to start healing, and so we can start embracing our own, because this is a pandemic to me. This is an epidemic. That we're constantly fighting against each other, and we're constantly having these issues with our boys and so forth, and it seems like it's getting worse. But and then it's like y'all are being attacked as men trying to do the right thing, but just everybody else is coming.
I was just going to say that.
Just trying to do the right thing.
So thank you so much.
We've gotten so comfortable being miserable.
Yeah.
I like what Michael B. Jordan told Oprah. He said, being a black male is like being a pit bull. Everybody loves the protection of the pit bull.
Right.
Until the pit bull gets hit in the streets and they walk by the dying dog and don't help him.
Right.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yep.
That's a visual.
Yeah, black man only means, one thing to
America.
Yeah.
Yep.
Labor.
Wow.
And the thing is, the caller is coming from an international standpoint.
Yeah.
And he said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So a black man ain't nothing but service.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the funny thing. When I was in Romania, an actual Romanian dude and a Japanese dude gave me most of my masculinity. I had to unlearn the hood through these two dudes.
Okay.
So he gave me the perception of race. He said, "Man, there's no race. That's an American thing."
Yeah.
I said, "Huh?" He said, "Look, the Slavics, which are the Russians, they love us. But look at our skin tone. We're like dark. We're almost like Italian looking. Okay? The Ukrainians are lighter than us and almost lighter than Slavs. The Slavs hate them. Where's the race in that?" He said, "It's labor. If you are perceived as a server in your mannerism, in your court jester type of behavior, then you'll never be an aristocrat." I said, "What's an aristocrat?" And then he taught me. He said, "Look, people throughout history have lineage. Blacks are the ones who don't have. Look at Africa. Where's the king? Where's the Queen Elizabeth? Where's the French royals? Where? No. Every century they teach their children, serve for a coin, do this for some money. And throughout history, nobody respects that." And I said, and then he said lastly, he said, "Look at the Serbian." He said, "That's where the term Serbs come from the Czar." He said, "They're not bad people. It's just that they never developed their culture beyond servitude. So everybody in this region looks at them as the soldiers or the wetbacks of our particular area." And that's how we have to look as black men here in America. It isn't about what we want or what should be right. If you're not a mathematical intellectual, if you're not a manager or owner or supervisor, then you're doing it wrong, because the dude that just got to this country from Pakistan is now your supervisor.
Yep.
And you're like, how did that happen?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
I got something to add to that, what he just stated. You can even look at it deeper and look at our black women being still portrayed as baby factors, if you think about it. And like we stated with men, black men, we are servers versus being owners, and we're not teaching our white people are teaching their kids. We was talking about this, about they're at an early age of teaching their kids to learn how to run a business.
The lead.
Yep. Woo!
Checking book, a bank account.
Yep.
Indian and Pakistani do not tease their children about staying with them until they 30, 36.
Yeah.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because their children don't know what an apartment is. They go straight into a house.
That is so true. That is so true. I've witnessed that.
A whole house.
A whole house. I've witnessed that. Even when we lived over in Iran, it wasn't you kicking your kids out or anything like that. Yeah, and you're right. They do love us over in other countries, and we're being taught like they don't. And it's not. When we lived in Iran, my dad and us, we were like kings to them. Like they loved us, but they did not like the white dudes that came over. And they were saying blatantly, they were
let me share this with you. Over in Russia, there's a couple of statues of African Americans, like Paul Robeson or whatever. They love African Americans. Yeah. They don't like Africans.
Yeah, yeah.
They love African Americans. They don't like white Americans. And you're like, well, how is that? The Russians believe that they're warriors. That's why they don't really practice religion and all that. They believe that they're warriors. So they don't like scam artists. They don't like people who play games. And so you can go over there and they'll test you. But you pop off with them or get into a fist fight with them, or everybody respects you now because they believe that they're warriors. So with that said, imagine this boy in the ice and cold is being taught that at 12.
Right.
What are we teaching the boy over here? No, he got to figure it out. Or he got to go to the Crips and Bloods and figure it out.
Yep. Oh, we have this crazy idea that at 18 you got to get out the house.
Yeah.
And my wife always says, she said, you are going to be the saddest soul on earth.
Yeah.
My son, 26, you can always come home.
Right.
I tell him that. Hey, you already have a home.
Right.
You don't have to. You're paying for what you're doing because you want to go this route. You already have a home.
Yeah.
You already have value.
That's why I try to explain to my son about the 16-year-old situation, and still to this day, he feels like, he was kicked out and forced to live on the street. You chose, you had a house.
Yeah. That yeah.
Right.
Wow, you got mail messages from him. I like this conversation has to continue. Caller, I so appreciate you calling in. And please continue to follow and listen. Because again, we got to continue this conversation because again, it's not going to, I think the more that we're educated and the more that we can just really talk and be honest with each other, because I really believe that Black men are being forced to feel one way, and it's like, no, it's for me and my household. Right. This is what's going to happen. Now, when they turn 18 or 21 or whatever, and they choose to live outside of this home, then and not to be made feel guilty about this is my decision for me and my family. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that was my father's house rules, and it wasn't dictatorship, but he was like, okay, y'all are going to do this while you're here. Now, when you get grown, you can do whatever you want. And he would say, you can do whatever you want to when you get grown. But just know that Joe Collier and Curly Collier, we taught you X, Y, and Z. Right. You know what I'm saying? Even with the whole, you don't have to go to college, but you are going to build a business. You know what I'm saying? But when you get grown, you can do whatever you want to. So I think that's what we got to get back to and not feel ashamed and not feel attacked by society, because society is going to lead us to hell and high water.
Exactly. Yeah. And start giving you.
It's already up.
Yeah, you're right. It's already.
Start teaching your kids value. Start teaching your kids that like I let my kids know, hey, y'all are homeowners. Mm-hmm. Don't sit. Don't walk around here like you are a homeowner. You are a young. Your name is on a credit card. You're building credit, and people have been doing this for their years.
Right.
We're just getting the. I'm like, you start taking pride.
Yeah.
Start taking some pride.
We are, in reality, our social security number is a found business of the United States.
It is.
Yep.
It is.
Yep.
That it is. Y'all want me to bring y'all on this? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We are. Okay. I just muted. All right. Caller, are you still there? Okay. Again, you got mail.
There you go.
On this one,
mute him right here.
Which one?
The one that just came in. Mute that one.
Mute that one.
Everybody. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
everybody mute.
Good.
All right. Yo, this is live studio. This is what we do. Happens live in the studio. But I mean, yeah, that I do feel like the attack is coming from them out there, and I say them, I mean society, like
society.
Yeah,
Society.
because I see y'all raising your children to the best, but then you also got, well, you know, you shouldn't be so hard on this, or you shouldn't do this, and then they're conflict, you know, versus being on one accord and saying, hey, you know what, I know what our kids are facing, I know what Instagram them are doing, but as
just think about right now with everything that's going on with the black man.
Yeah.
Do you really want to send your son out there unprepared?
Yeah.
Do you really want to send, like, for real? You got some people out there that worry when their kids go to their little 3 to 4, 5 hour job.
Yeah.
You know, it's real out there, and you have to stop not telling your kids. Give them the information. No, they're not too young to sit back and be taught and learn.
Right.
If you got an issue with that TV show, you know what I would do? Turn the show off. Let's go outside.
Hey, you know what?
That's what he does.
If you have an issue with that TV show, I take it even farther. Just start even further. Just start streaming. Cut your cable. Cut all that. Just get to the root of it.
He ain't got no problem with that.
Put the books in the house. Put the books. Because I do. Put the books in the house.
Yeah.
You can't do nothing but watch Netflix or something like that, and you can't watch that unless I know it because you don't know my password. So get a book.
Right.
Now,
and he has no problem doing that. It's like literally, it's like we got so many other, and I guess because now it's like, you know, you're in new relationships, and again, in your traditional household. I'm not even gonna say traditional household. It's your household that you grew up. This was the norm. Now we got a new norm. You got new norm, and then, you know, so everybody's coming with their,
and it's abstract.
You know, and a lot of folks are scared of change as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that we got to understand that as well. Also, the main issue is that we're trying to control emotion, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We can't control emotion.
No.
We can't help how they feel. We can't help how we feel.
Yeah.
So if the boy is feeling a certain way or feeling something, the only thing we can only help him control his actions.
Yeah.
Not his emotions.
Yeah.
So by me turning off the TV is not going to control his emotion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, understand that there's an agenda with these shows, with these TV shows. Yeah. It may not, you know what I'm saying? So know that. But we can't control how they feel.
He sees it from that aspect. He said there's an agenda.
Yeah, then that's fine. Then turn it off
from
then.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So but if you're trying to stop certain emotions, that's not going to work.
No, he's one of them ones that's like, I see the agenda.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to subject my son to this agenda.
Yeah, right.
I agree with that, but I don't think emotions really play a part in that when you look at the TV and the TV is driving behavior.
Oh, well, yeah.
That ain't got nothing to do with emotions.
Yeah.
That got to do with if you watching this
that's what I'm saying.
And it's driving the behavior. If me and my son are menace to society.
That's right.
I'm teaching my son to pick up a pistol and go and do that.
Right.
But again, still on top of that, the agenda also is coming from that female aspect of the situation as well, because she's missing something that she wants, and obviously she's using him to get it.
Right.
Definitely.
And what people gotta realize,
but they gotta have that conversation.
Right.
That's something we have.
But that's really the biggest conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah. And how do you have that conversation?
You got see, that's the thing. We're gonna navigate back around to that particular question right there. It's so disheartening that no grown people can't have
that conversation.
But how do you have that conversation? I'm the mother, I'm the father.
Easy. But in my mind, that's so easy.
It's easy for you as a man.
One goal, right? We got one goal. Does that contribute to the goal or not?
But it also sounds sexist and racist.
How does that sound sexist if it doesn't contribute to the goal?
For both of us.
Okay, so what's the goal?
The goal is to raise this child.
Raise this young man and give him substance. Right? And give him balance.
Yes.
Does that contribute or take away from? Is that a liability or an asset? And if we can't come to terms on if it's either, whichever way, we're just gonna discontinue it all together, and we're just gonna have a case study on it, and we're just gonna see and watch our child.
Right.
Pretty much.
But because I'm not gonna debate with you back and forth as an adult and as a father to this particular child about how I view how my son should be raised. Because I can give you facts. Before there was ever social media, we was raised by a whole community.
Right. Yes. Neighborhood
Raised us.
Absolutely.
The neighbor from the street could put hands on you.
Absolutely.
The neighbor down the streets and everything.
You'll you up, take you home.
When you get back to the house, you got it. Now we can't even have a conversation with the person we lay with.
We can't even. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep. It's crazy. That's what we
our kids are seeing that. So it goes right back to raising the son. Is that if my dad, again, if it wasn't, the reason I value relationships the way that I value relationships because I saw the hell that my mom went through. And I saw what my mom wanted from my dad, which instilled in me that, okay, now that's what I got to go do.
Right.
I got to go find a woman that I can treat how my mom wanted to be treated, but that screwed me. I kept finding women that I had to end up calling myself fixing and not realizing that I myself was damaged. And it wasn't until I realized that I was damaged. And I tell people this, what really hit the nail on the coffin was my counselor at the time explained to me, hey, Mr. Williams, I love your money. I will continue to keep it and keep coming. But two things you can do for me. Either you can stop coming in his office and complaining, or you can leave the situation. And I had to choose which was better. And leaving the situation was a better fit because it was a detriment for me to stay in that because I was not teaching my kids anything but a bad habit, just to stay. I was raising my son to allow a person, regardless of, a woman period in general, regardless of what woman it was, a woman in general, to disrespect you when you're doing the most for them, to talk down to you, to mistreat you. I was teaching my son that by staying with his mom. And after I left, I realized, I had to go soul searching. I had to go get fixed myself. Like one of the best things that I've learned and something that I tried to explain to my youngest son now is learning the no factor, being able to say no and not caring about how somebody feels about you saying no.
Keep it on.
Yeah.
And me realizing that I'm in the situation I am with, and I know she gets tired of me saying this, but this is the best helpmate that I've ever had in my entire life. We help each other, we grow, we learn, and that communication. If you can't communicate with the person, like his situation, he can't communicate with her. I'm not telling anybody to leave a situation, but there's something needs to be done about the fact that we can't communicate on the raising of our child.
I totally agree.
Hell yeah.
Well, I hope he's listening, which I'm pretty sure he is. He wanted that confirmation.
Yeah, I pray he is.
Man.
He wanted that confirmation that he's doing the right thing. And I think, with more men, if y'all were united and standing, which I know y'all are, but it has to be, we have to learn how to listen again and accept and work together with your decisions, because that is something that I have noticed that we're straying away, and we're leaving it up to this is just the way it is, and that unity is fading away from the household. So dang, y'all, it is 11:51. 52.
I want to keep talking. I like that kind of character.
I do.
Shout out to all the dads who still be able to struggle stay and still be a dad. Because a lot of us get to the point to where, man, I'm out. I can't. Before I blow my brains out, let me step away.
That's what I had to do. That's exactly what I had to do.
And to the brother that's listening, I want to encourage you to always be comfortable and confident in having the hard conversation. Robust dialogue. I think that conflict builds boundaries. If you have no conflict, you have no boundaries. So he has to have that because it's only gonna get worse.
Yeah.
It's only gonna get worse because once the son starts submitting to what the mother is saying, it's gonna be a 2 against 1 type thing, and it's become chaotic.
But that's why the villages take the boys at 13 and train them to be men. Because you've gotten that emotional upbringing up until the 13 point. Now it's time for you to become a man.
You've been nurtured enough.
Right.
And they know what, but they knew.
You've been on that nip long enough.
But they knew that over nurturing a young male.
On the nip long enough.
You've been on the nip long enough.
Time to go.
Grandma told you that, hey, it's time to get off the...
Hey, look, it's time to put you on the other nip. We're going to put you on the nips to hustle.
Get off
That's right.
I'm a Capricorn, so we can't say Capricorn season.
Monique, have a great day. By the way,
have a great day.
Love you, girl.
You know what? We ain't gonna worry about him because women got to go and get his food. Feed him. He can't even feed himself. The Leo.
You know. So before we wrap up, y'all,
big man,
Mr. Takeover, what you got coming up? What you got going on? You got
I got a couple things going on. One, like you were stating, I advocate for not only myself but my MS community, those that deal with multiple sclerosis on a daily basis. I Can Beat MS on Facebook, which we dive in and express and explain, and we find out that we learn more from each other than we do from doctors. Having the live at 3:00 on Facebook. Me and my lady, we have the second season of our podcast, The Soulful Pillow Talk, which is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart. We're trying to get it on Pandora, where we're going to dive in a little bit deeper about creating more healthier relationships. I'm just real passionate about kind of like the person that called in. I've been told that that's my God-given gift of conversating and talking and helping, and so I want to dive in deep into that. And basically, you, Tashawn, kind of really when we was on Aaron's show that day, you really stuck out with me, and I'm very proud of what you're doing.
Come on.
This here is like that. I wish that the Black community helped each other more than we took each other down.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
But we're gonna do that with this show. We're gonna do that.
Yes, indeed.
Building one community at a time, starting with us.
That's right.
Thank you so much for being here. Tank, the sports guy, what you got going on?
Oh, it's gonna be all love, and just to let everybody know that nothing does it like the bull. Nothing.
The bull?
There he goes. He want to ram his head.
Billy D season, baby.
Billy
D season.
Y'all know.
Nothing does it like the bull.
I stand on high and look low.
Well, with that said, we got 3 minutes.
My bad.
I'm Ferdinand looking over the valley.
My bad. You know, the Sagittarius, she get kind of, hey, look.
Y'all
bring Capricorn season back.
Exactly. Over the hey, have a real foundation somewhere.
I'm gonna walk down the hill.
Lisa, come and get your man. He's about to get kicked out of the studio.
Talk about sit high and look low. I'm gonna snipe all y'all.
Let's put my bunny back on.
I'm in the clouds, baby. I'm in the clouds.
You gonna fix so you gonna?
Hey, look. The only thing you're bad to shoot is the fish in the water.
Hey, you know what?
Hey,
go on. What you got going on?
Working, man. Continue to work on self. Continue to build this wonderful brand along with other things. A lot of things coming and going on, man. Look, he'll put the bunny back on.
Put the bunny back.
All y'all, man.
Looking like Mr. Game.
Hey, look.
Mr. Game. What's in the cafeteria today, Mr. Game?
Brandon 101.
Just mad potato.
What you got going on, Green?
Green is buying black, and I guess I might have to see what we got going on with Bonnet Brandon 101 over here.
That's called a draft protector. Called a draft protector.
Moisture lid. Moisture lid.
No.
Oh, Mr. Takeover, y'all need to connect with the Buy Black.
Yes,
with your sweet treat, so y'all connect.
Sweet treats.
Sweet treat.
Yes, it's
I make the best desserts and
Come on.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna have to pull up.
That was his dessert. You got to pull up and hop out.
Yeah, you gotta hop out on that one.
So,
we coming in. We gonna be in there. We gonna be up there at the end of May. So I'll definitely bring y'all some.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
he'll be him.
Can't wait.
Him and his fiance will be here. And I just want to send a special shout out to everybody who participated last Sunday. I was able to feed 65 souls, y'all, across Metro Atlanta.
That's huge.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Doing it again for May. Of course, my goal is 1,971 people. So now 65, y'all do the math.
Yeah.
I got, as Chef said, something to do.
Yeah.
But I really thank y'all
What's
so
the Cash
much.
App?
The Cash App is Trinette Collier. And y'all, yes, and I am officially a I can officially collect y'all's money and y'all can get some tax. So I'm just waiting on the IRS right now. So as soon as that comes through,
I'm trying to get where you at, sweetie.
Tax deductible
Congratulations.
Donations like that
goodness.
has been in the making for years,
Yeah.
y'all, for years. And then with COVID and all of that, it put aside. But you know, good things come to those who wait. So you know, I am super excited about that because that is my passion. So continue to follow. I am Trinette L. Collier. Continue to follow YGM.
Yeah.
Y'all, the listening party is coming on the 24th. And then I got another what you call it for y'all. So, but y'all have to stay connected for the listening party on the 24th. But you know what, y'all? This has been a great show. I appreciate all of y'all.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
DJ, Go,
Yes.
Green Machine, Farmer Wayne out there. I really appreciate y'all because I couldn't have done this without y'all. So,
Definitely.
until next week, LaRon,
Yes, ma'am.
Ghost,
Yes.
Green Machine, DJ Johnny Prince, Tank, and y'all out there.
Peace.
Till next week. Peace. DJ, turn that up.
Saturday mornings, I'm tuned in. Listening to Tishawn, she be going in. Y'all. Black queen for us black kings. We can learn a thing or two when we're locked in. One of the few places we can be heard. Facts, man, I rocks with her. That's my word. The show is enlightening, engagement always enticing. I always come with an open mind. I'm never frightened. Y'all guaranteed to walk your way with minerals. Now that I'm thinking everything else is minuscule. Rid of fools who don't protect black women. No argument, disrespect. And that's it, y'all. Please come in peace when you call in. Cause the friends ain't no slouch, fair warning. You've got mail messages from him. Y'all better listen if you wanna win. Wanna win in life, y'all. You wanna win in life. Tune in to Tishawn and Friends. You've got mail messages from him. Yeah. You've got mail messages from him. 10 a.m. to noon Saturdays. Tune in. Yeah. You've got mail messages from him.